Have you ever noticed that the more you open up to family, the more complicated things get? You begin with the best intentions. You want to be honest, stay close, and build trust. But somewhere along the way, that openness doesn't bring peace. It brings pressure. Instead of feeling understood, you feel watched. Instead of connection, you feel like you're being managed. This happens to many people after 65. And it's not because your family doesn't love you, they do. But love, especially within families, comes with layers, expectations, unspoken fears, and personal opinions. What you thought would bring you closer sometimes ends up pushing you into roles you didn't ask for. The fragile one, the stubborn one, or the one who needs help all the time. You've spent decades building your life, overcoming hardships, raising children, contributing to your community. You've earned a season of calm, clarity, and personal freedom. But here's the hard truth. Sometimes, in order to protect that peace, you have to hold some things back. Not because you're hiding, not because you're being secretive, but because wisdom teaches us something that youth never could. Some truths are better kept quiet, not for others, but for your own well-being. In this video, I want to talk with you, not at you, about 5 things I've learned are better left unsaid after 65. If you've ever walked away from a family conversation feeling more drained than heard, or if you've ever thought, maybe I should have just kept that to myself, then this message is for you. Welcome to Wisdom for Elders, where we build a space for thoughtful, self-respecting seniors who want to live the years ahead with dignity, peace, and strength. Let's get into the 5 things you should never fully share with family, no matter how close you are. 1. Your exact financial situation. Money is one of the most personal parts of our lives, and yet, after 65, we often feel pressured to be completely transparent with our families, especially our children. We're told that by showing them our financial picture, we'll avoid surprises, confusion, or disputes down the road. That sounds responsible, right? But what no one tells you is that full financial disclosure doesn't always bring relief. It can bring interference. Take Martin, for example. He's 81, a retired engineer who saved carefully his whole life. He sat down with his sons one day and shared everything: his accounts, pensions, real estate, investment strategy, even future inheritance plans. He printed spreadsheets and offered complete transparency, thinking it would build trust. Instead, it changed everything. Suddenly, every choice Martin made was up for discussion. Why was he still living in a house that big? Shouldn't he move to assisted living just in case? Why buy a recliner when he could make do with the old one? Even his vacations were questioned. Should you really be flying at your age? What hurt the most was not the questions themselves, but the subtle shift that occurred. Martin went from being respected as independent to being monitored like a child. Finances have power dynamics attached to them. Once you reveal your full picture, it changes how others interact with you, sometimes consciously, sometimes not. You might start receiving unsolicited advice. You may notice certain relatives becoming unusually interested in your assets. The independence you fought hard to maintain can begin slipping through your fingers, not because someone's trying to take it, but because you gave away too much too soon. Of course, you should prepare legally, have a will, assign a power of attorney, and make sure someone trustworthy can help if needed. But that doesn't mean everyone needs to know every detail. Your bank balance is not a topic of family discussion. Your spending doesn't require permission. Privacy here is not secrecy, it's protection. 2. Every small health concern. Our bodies change with age. That's natural. And when those changes show up, aches, fatigue, memory lapses, it feels right to mention them. After all, your family cares. You want to keep them in the loop. You figure if you casually mention feeling dizzy or stiff, they'll simply understand and move on. But often, they don't move on. They worry, and that worry turns into control. Claire, a 76-year-old widow and former school principal, is full of life. She volunteers, walks her dog every morning, and takes pride in her independence. One weekend, after doing heavy yard work, she told her daughter her shoulders felt sore. Just that, A passing comment over coffee. Her daughter's response? Panic. She scheduled a physical therapy consult, called multiple times a day to check in, and insisted on hiring help around the house. What started as a simple update turned into a chain reaction that made Claire feel boxed in. Her daughter began making remarks like, "Maybe you shouldn't be driving at night anymore," or "Are you sure you should be lifting those groceries?" It chipped away at her self-confidence. This is what happens when you share too much about minor health issues. They may seem small to you, but to your family, they signal danger. They may start treating you like you're fragile, even if you're not. And that subtle shift, from capable adult to vulnerable elder, can be hard to undo once it begins. This doesn't mean hiding serious health problems. If there's a condition that affects your life, you absolutely should share it. Your family deserves to know when something important is happening, but not every sore joint needs a conversation. You are more than your symptoms. Constantly talking about small physical issues can make your world feel smaller, your identity reduced to what hurts. Protect your energy by choosing what to share and what to keep between you and your doctor. Let your family support you in real ways, not in imagined ones. 3. Getting involved in family conflicts. You've lived long enough to see how arguments unfold between siblings, spouses, cousins, and even in-laws. And with age comes the desire to bring peace, to offer wisdom, to smooth things over. But here's the hard truth. Involvement often leads to resentment, not resolution. Let's talk about Miriam. She's 80, sharp, and deeply respected in her family. During a visit, she gently suggested to her daughter that her grandson should help clean up his toys. That simple comment changed everything. Her daughter went quiet, then cold. The weekly calls slowed. Invitations stopped. Miriam hadn't criticized. She thought she was helping, but her words landed as judgment, not support. This happens more often than we admit. We think we're being gentle, but people hear our words through their own emotions. Stress, insecurity, pride. Even a small comment can spark a defensive response. Suddenly, you're the one who caused tension, even though you were trying to help. And if you step into a major family conflict, say between adult children, you risk being seen as playing favorites. You might say something neutral, but it will be remembered as taking sides. Later, when things settle, they may forget the argument, but they'll remember that you were part of it. The solution? Stay neutral. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You can say, "I trust you to figure this out," or "I don't want to take sides, but I'm here if you need me." This keeps you out of the emotional crossfire and preserves your connection with everyone involved. In old age, peace is more valuable than being right. Don't let yourself be pulled into the emotional turbulence of others. You've earned the right to observe without engaging. 4. Regrets from the past. As we age, we reflect. It's natural to think about mistakes, lost opportunities, or family moments we wish had gone differently. And sometimes, we feel the urge to talk about those regrets, to unburden, to be honest. But sharing deep regrets with family, especially about parenting, old relationships, or missed chances, can cause more harm than healing. Your children might take on guilt that doesn't belong to them. They may start to see their childhood differently, even if you meant no harm. Instead of bringing you closer, your words can create emotional distance. It's one thing to say, "I've learned from my past." It's another to pour out stories of failure without resolution. When regrets are shared without a clear purpose, they can create a cloud that hangs over future conversations. They shift how others see you, from a source of strength to a source of sadness. That doesn't mean you can't reflect, but process those feelings in a healthy space. A counselor, a trusted friend, or even a journal. Let your wisdom guide what you share. Focus on the lessons, not the pain. You've lived through things others can't imagine. Let your legacy be your growth, not your grief. 5. Strong opinions on their life choices. You've raised your children. You've watched them grow. And now, you're watching them parent, manage money, and make big life decisions. Sometimes, it's hard to stay silent when you disagree, but giving unasked for opinions, especially strongly, can damage trust. You may think you're helping, but your child hears something else: criticism. It's painful to feel like you're being judged by your own parent, even when you're 40, 50, or older. Advice on parenting, spending, careers, or relationships can cause friction if not invited. You may say, "Back in my day, we never would've," and your child hears, "You're doing it wrong." Even subtle comments like, "That's an interesting choice," can come across as passive disapproval. The best way to stay close? Let them live. If they ask for your opinion, offer it gently and with respect. If they don't, affirm their ability to handle things. Say, "You're doing a great job," or "I know you'll figure it out." You can love deeply without directing their every move. Freedom goes both ways. Aging isn't just about getting older, it's about learning what to hold on to and what to release. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is say less. These 5 things, your money, your minor health concerns, your involvement in arguments, your old regrets, and your unsolicited advice, don't have to be shared to be understood. You've earned this chapter of life. You deserve peace, privacy, and autonomy. You've already given so much. Now is the time to guard what matters. Share wisely, speak intentionally, and know that your silence, in the right moments, is not distance. It's dignity. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like. Share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Wisdom for Elders. This is your space, where truth meets gentleness, and age becomes strength.